At you live with Rachel Matthews. Hey, Rachel, welcome back.
Hello, thank you. It's good to be back. Took a little
Yes,
hiatus for my daughter's wedding, but
missed
we're back.
you. Oh, your daughter's wedding. It all got off okay. They at the end of the day, did they get married?
The good news is it doesn't matter what happens at the wedding. At the end of the day, they get married, and that's the point. So,
She's awesome.
but it was a beautiful wedding.
Mm,
Really, no problems, no hitches.
mm,
It was
mhm,
great.
Wonderful, real intimate, and
Very
just
intimate. Yes, it was a
yeah,
micro
mhm,
wedding.
mhm. Yeah. That's great. That's great. My daughter's been to a couple of those recently, and they just tend to be just more, I don't know, just
Yeah.
more time for real engaging with people. So,
That's exactly what I noticed is that I felt
mhm,
like I spent time with each person and didn't feel
mhm,
harried. It was like I
mhm,
felt like I was enjoying a really nice time,
mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
and that's the point, and that was what my daughter really wanted is a small, intimate thing. So it was perfect.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, and happy Labor Day, everyone. I'm coming to you from my new digs. What? Yeah. Oh, can you see?
it was
Yay. Yeah.
beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Thanks to my husband.
Mhm.
And yes, we are coming at you live from the waiting room and actually Gail's area.
Uh-huh.
Um, so here at Oregon Weight and Wellness. And we're continuing our conversation this happy Labor Day.
Yes.
Um, and thank you to all who are working today. But we're going to continue our conversation in food rules. And we're talking about chapter 63.
Mhm.
Rachel, take it away.
This is a really hard chapter. The title is really long.
Yeah.
Cook.
Cook. Yeah. Right.
That's it. He says cook. And I love that he starts off right away with it could, somebody else can cook for you. You
Mhm.
can cook for yourself. There's a lot of different ways to get food into your body. But
Mhm.
when you let someone else have control
Mm.
of what you're eating, whether it's
Mhm.
at a fast food restaurant, a restaurant, your in-laws house,
Mhm.
or a hiring, a personal chef, it takes your control away. He says you lose control over your eating life, the
Mhm.
portions as much as the ingredients. What do you think about that? That was an interesting perspective that he took.
Right. No, I can see that. I can see that, especially if you're going out.
Mhm.
It used to be. I'm just thinking about all these little foodie shows that are on television now, or some of the movies about these chefs. And I'm sure those people are with the way they portray it is those chefs are using just they're going out in the morning to the fish market or and gathering all the best, most beautiful, freshest, herbs and all this stuff. That's not what is happening down the road. I mean,
No,
sorry.
sorry. Yeah, it's not. And, you know, uh, it, there are places you can go where you can really have an exquisite meal
Mhm,
that's like
mhm,
that. It's
mhm.
very far and few between. It's not
Right.
easy to do, especially in
No.
our culture. We don't have a lot of, local, as many as we used to, local farms and ways to get as much fresh
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
But I
Yeah.
thought it was interesting too, because this is a culture, especially coming out of COVID. COVID birthed the meals being sent to you, right?
Uber. Yeah. Uber Eats or whatever.
Uber Eats, and actually, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking more the pre-made, like so the Hello
Oh,
Fresh.
right, right.
Some
Yeah.
of them are pre-made and they come ready to eat. Others
Right.
are ready to go meals in a bag where you put
Right,
it in
right.
whatever.
And you
So
do the last little bit. Yeah.
and you do the last little bit. So that one feels like you have a little bit more control because you're making it. You're putting it together with your
Right,
hands and you're seeing what's going in it.
right,
And then you get to, divvy out the portions.
right. Because some people, when we come up against, getting curious about why people don't cook, why don't we
Mhm.
cook? Well, maybe they never really learned. Maybe it's
Mhm.
something that wasn't handed down to them
Yeah.
by their parents or in their household growing up. Sometimes people say, they tried it, they don't know how, they don't feel like they're, qualified or what. And
Mhm.
then, and other people say they don't have enough time to cook. Yeah.
Right.
So, but the great news is, Rachel, it doesn't take a lot of skill.
No.
It doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And what does it take? It takes just the willingness to experiment,
Yeah.
maybe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say number one, it takes an intentionality. You
Mm.
have to be intentional.
Hmm.
And this is, this is something I kind of had a come to Jesus moment about because I hated cooking. I was not
Oh.
raised with a mother who cooked. Cooking was
Hmm.
always a very contentious point of
Mm.
topic in our family. My dad ended up throwing something together last minute for the 5 of us kids. It was never a sort of a positive experience for me.
Hmm.
And I definitely grew up on a lot of processed 70s, microwave meals and to working parents and these things. So I had no skills.
Mm.
And I never liked cooking. And I would, and let's go back to identity. I told myself, I don't cook. I
Oh,
don't
wow.
like to cook. I'm
Mm.
not a person who cooks. I hate cooking. And I kept telling myself this over and over
Mm.
again.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
what does your brain
So,
do? It does everything possible to make that true.
mm.
So I avoided even trying. Oh no, I don't cook. Oh, I don't cook. Right? Like
Hmm.
not even giving myself the chance. And
Right.
I finally realized if I wanted control of my health and my well-being and what goes in my mouth, I had to cook, at least in some capacity. And I had to claim it as my new identity.
Mm.
I cook. I feed myself. I feed my family. And it
Hmm.
became this empowering language, but I had to intentionally use it over and over again. And I realized I want healthy teeth. I have to brush my teeth. I hate brushing my teeth. It's such a pain in the neck. It's boring. It's repetitive, but I do it,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to smell bad, so I shower. It's
Yeah.
so frustrating. You have to do it over and over again. It's
So
like
many other things to do in life than
too much else to do. Like, I like to check things off and be done with it. But showering, you got
I
to do it
know.
all over and over again.
Right.
So
Pulling
now,
weeds, dusting, all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I put it in the category of not optional.
Hmm.
This is not an
Hmm.
optional part of my life. I cook.
Right.
I
Right.
eat,
Right.
therefore I cook.
Yeah. I like it. And what I really like what you were saying because it's that self-talk that
Yeah.
we really have to kind of change and tweak. Well, maybe I haven't cooked, but just because I haven't cooked in the past, does that mean I will never cook?
Right.
Yeah, so getting curious about that and then the why behind it. You could dig as deep as you want to.
Yeah.
Um, and you can make the baby steps to cooking, small, right?
Very small.
Yeah.
Start somewhere. I
Right.
started with the 3 or 4 meals that I knew how to make because I had watched my parents, like tuna
Mm.
fish casserole,
Mhm.
pot roast with vegetables, spaghetti, and chow mein, like some sort of a chow mein something meal. That was it. Those were the 4 on repeat at my house. So I knew how to make those. So I started really simple there. And then as I got more curious about health, I learned how to give them healthy upgrades. I learned how
Right.
to tweak them. And
Yeah.
I just went from there.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. So growing up, both of my parents worked. My mom was a nurse. She worked the swing shift. So she got up and put together a casserole or something,
Mhm.
and then that was ready. And then when I got home from school, I was as the oldest daughter, I was the third child, the middle child of 5, but the oldest girl. It was my responsibility then to put whatever she had prepped
Yeah.
into the oven, and then I made the salad and we always had kind of an iceberg lettuce based salad
Mhm.
along with whatever one dish meal that usually included a meat and a vegetable and some sort of starch, whether it was rice or pasta or something like that. So that
Yeah.
was my version of cooking growing up, just finishing what mom started.
Yeah.
And and then when I went off to school, yeah, forget about it. Zero time. I
Yeah.
hate. I really am. I hate to admit what I ate during medical school. Maybe another day. Maybe today's
It's
not
a
the
different
day.
story. It's a different chapter in the book.
Different chapter. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then family of my own. I
Mhm.
started where you started, where I made I did what my parents did,
Mhm.
and but as I have dug a little deeper in nutrition, I've really enjoyed experimenting with new things, new flavors. And I like to challenge myself to try a new recipe once a month, or a new vegetable once a month, or a new herb or something like that.
Mhm.
So, and I love it because now, and my husband loves to cook. Kenny loves to cook. And my kids love to cook, which is just so gratifying. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting what you just said there about cooking, the parts of it that you loved. So I would really
Mhm.
encourage people listening, if you haven't loved cooking or haven't
Mhm.
enjoyed it, think about the things that you're really good at, because there's so many aspects to cooking, from
Mhm.
planning to buying the foods to
Mhm.
deciding where you're going to go for your. I mean, it touches on every skill set
Right.
and every part of our existence as a human. So
Mm.
think about the part that you really like. If you could
Right.
think about the entire process you know, from beginning where the food is planted till it goes in your mouth, what part do you really want to press into
Yeah.
and strengthen that skill set,
Mm.
right? Really press into, if you're really good at researching the best, healthiest, organic places to get food, press into that, press into your skill and what brings you joy. And you'll notice this positive trickle down effect.
Mm.
The parts you don't like will be kind of like, well, you do it. But the
Mhm.
parts you love, you'll get gratification from. You'll
Right.
you'll find a fulfillment from it. It's really
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. Cool. And, and then if you're not someone who loves cooking or has cooked,
Mhm.
then breaking it down into, how do I delegate some things so it doesn't feel so overwhelming? And a lot of people are using apps like Plate Joy, can think of.
Yes.
E-meals is another one where, and these apps can get really granular where you put in, what's in your kitchen. I got a pot, I got an Instapot, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you plug in what's in your kitchen, you plug in how many minutes you have to, I want to spend 15 minutes in the kitchen. You plug in that you need to make a dinner and you love this, but you're allergic to that. And so it's real granular. And then
Mhm.
out pops, you plug all that in, out pops a menu. And in addition to a menu, then there is a grocery list. And so pretty much you've delegated then that meal planning with your likes and dislikes. And then if you want to, you can even delegate the grocery shopping. So that you've really scaled down, first of all, the overwhelm, and secondly, the time commitment, so that you can really just press in and be in the kitchen. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I like that, the delegating of the parts, and
Mhm.
can you delegate to your partner, to your spouse, to your
Mm.
kids?
Kids, yes, invite the kids in, right, exactly.
Absolutely. Get creative.
Mm.
With the whole delegating, like, the part that I knew was a big obstacle is grocery shopping.
Mhm.
I don't like shopping. I just
Mm.
never liked shopping. I don't like going into stores, any kind of store. Um, and so I order it online and I pick it up at Fred Meyer. It's free to
Mm.
pick up if you pay more than $35 for your groceries. It's
Oh,
so easy, it's quick. I can decide when I want to pick it up. And it also keeps me from those
impulse
tem-
buys.
what?
Impulse buys.
Yes. Yes. There's no impulse buying online because you don't see the, tower of soda pop and potato chips for, yeah, you're just, I'm looking, okay, I need broccoli, buy. I need, and so yeah, delegating as much as possible to other people or to apps or programs.
Yeah,
Um, I think that's a brilliant way, but
right, right.
baby steps. Think of the biggest obstacle in your way right now and think, okay, what's one step, one small
Mhm,
step
mhm, mhm.
towards what you want out of this?
Right, right. And maybe for a time you try one of those, just to get your feet wet.
Mhm.
Maybe you try one of those Blue Aprons or Green Chefs, or
Absolutely.
and that brings it to your door, and then just, there's the card that has
Yes.
the step by step, and it
Mhm.
makes it just just less overwhelming,
Yeah.
just simplifies it for you. You're getting your feet wet, you're trying something new, and it might spark something, you know.
Absolutely. You know, we have a patient actually who is your patient, and I'm working with her with coaching, and she's a very busy single mom, and she uses Hungry Root. Now, this is a program that you can go online and they send you the meals made. Or I believe it's pre-made, and for it, you know, it was a barrier for her because she felt like she was somehow failing as a mom or not quite doing what you're supposed to do. But what she realized is her obstacles were she wasn't eating healthy lunches. So she's using this just to kind of fill in some gaps.
Right.
She's still making her own healthy breakfast and she's still making healthy dinners. But if lunch was the barrier, then by golly, order Hungry Root lunches. And they're big enough for her that she can split them and use them, you know, for a day and then leftovers. And it fills in the gap. There's no guilt or shame in that at all.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just using tools and resources to move you forward.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
There's no perfect way to do this. There is no prescribed, you know, there's the old fashioned leave it to beaver ideal where you cook every meal from scratch.
Was that real?
No, it wasn't even real then, right? But this is what's in our mind. And if you don't do anything like that, you're a failure. No, throw it away. What works for you is the most important thing.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about this other resource called Imperfect Produce.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
Love it.
I did that for a time, and it doesn't come out to this. Well, back when I was doing it, I had it shipped to the office where I was working, actually, because they didn't come to the particular zip code. But maybe now it's changed. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, I love the Imperfect Produce because you could buy organic and less costly because they weren't the exact perfect round, or, you know, they were a little disfigured, but the same high quality for a lesser price. And then you could pick and choose some things that you wouldn't normally have thought of. So you can experiment with new vegetables or different produce. And then, and the other thing, a CSA, of course, is a great way.
Yes. Yes. Which is a local, like a share of a local farmer's crop, and you're paying in advance, and then typically they're delivering it, though you can go pick it up at their place. Yeah. But I love that because it kind of, it's like you paid already and they're going to deliver it. It's on your door. And now it's like, well, what are you going to do with it? Right. You're not going to throw it away. You're going to feel like a little extra push to do something with it. And you're going to have it just right there on your doorstep. Right. Some fresh produce.
Yes. So I put the tagline in this, in our talk today. It's called Anyone Can Cook. And isn't that from what was that one kids show? Ratatouille. I love that.
Oh, yes.
Anyone?
Very cute. Yes. Okay. And one more point that before we wrap up. So I think something's very interesting at the end of this chapter. If you're following along, you should read this chapter.
Yeah.
Let me just read what he says. You know, it's I often talk about in coaching, people make change when they no longer can tolerate blank. So it's
some kind of pain.
A pain point. And we can tolerate a lot of pain in our lives in a lot of different areas. But at some point we get where it's like you've had it up to here, right? You've told, you know, like you tell your kids that I've had it up to here with you kids. When you've had it up to here with fill in the blank, when you no longer can tolerate
arthritis, you know, your diabetes, your blood sugar, maybe the pain in your back, or this cancer diagnosis that you've had. Yeah.
Not being able to move, not being able to enjoy your life, not having mobility, or, I mean, this is when we get a little mad.
Having that heart attack or,
Ooh. And, or the history of family members dying too
soon. A friend that you've seen go through some horrible thing. Yeah.
Let that fuel this inner sort of anger, like, I'm not going to tolerate that in my life.
Right.
So this is what he says. I love what he says here. Cooking for yourself is the only sure way to take back control of your diet from the food scientists and the food processors, and to guarantee you're eating real food and not edible food-like substances with their unhealthy oils, high fructose corn syrup, and salt. Not surprisingly, the decline in home cooking closely parallels the rise in obesity. Oh my gosh. Don't tolerate that, right? My anger towards the food industry is
I know.
That I'm not allowing you in my home. I'm not allowing you, right? Like, I get that, you know, and I'm not perfect, and we get food once in a while, but I'm saying, like, in general, I want that control. And so there's that little bit of fire. Let
Right.
that fire fuel
Yeah.
you. I really like that part that he brings in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Great point.
Great.
Yeah. So I am so grateful that we have a bumper crop of plum cots this year, and we didn't get much out of our garden, a few things, which is awesome. But man, we've got the plum cots, and we're able to share. So that's one of the beautiful things about the change of location is sharing stuff out of the garden and the trees. So planted. So and speaking of that, that's what's for dinner, by the way. We're going to be going to a friend's house for Labor Day, and they just have a beautiful garden, and they're having corn out of their garden and zucchini and some sort of kale salad out of their garden. So, and I think he's going to grill up some wings or something like that, or smoke. I don't know. Yeah, some sort of meat with that. But anyway, excited to share their bounty.
Fun.
And, yeah. So what about you? What are you doing?
Yeah, dinner tonight is I planned ahead knowing that we would be moving my new son-in-law and my daughter into their new place. So I cooked I Instapotted a huge pot of a 15 bean soup. And so it's one of those things that, you just dive in and everybody can eat it. And it was big enough that it's going to last a couple of days. So it was what was for lunch yesterday and dinner last night, and also dinner tonight. And it's fine.
Peas porridge hot, peas porridge cold, peas porridge in the pot 9 days old.
That's right. That's how I'm living right now, and I love it. I'm okay with it. I make a big giant batch, and I can eat off of it for days.
That's right. Awesome. All right. Well, good to have you back, Rachel.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Thanks for joining us on this happy Labor Day. Stay healthy, everyone. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.